Hello children, myself Bindu. Today we are going to learn about force of physical science of class 8. In our regular life, we observe many things like riding bicycle, lifting bags, opening and closing door, etc. For instance, when you ride a bicycle, most of the time your legs are pushing down on the pedals. Learning objectives. Force, a push or pull. Type of force, contact and non-contact force. Type of contact force and definition. Type of non-contact force and definition. Keywords of the lesson. Force, push and pull. Contact force, muscular force, frictional force, normal force, tension, non-contact force, magnetic force, electrostatic force, gravitational force. This is the mind map of force. Actions like stretching rubber bands, pulling a rickshaw, rowing a boat, picking, opening and shutting the door, and kicking, hitting, lifting, pushing and pulling are often used to describe certain tasks. Each of these actions usually results in some kind of change in the state of an object. There are some activities. We have to identify that they are push or pull. Let's go for checking. In the case of opening and shutting door, push and pull, both forces can be applied. When a cricket ball is hit by batsman, it is push. Hoisting a flag is example of pull. Moving a loaded car is an example of pull. In science, a push or a pull on an object is called force. As example, stretching rubber band, pulling a rickshaw, opening and shutting door, kicking a football, hitting a ball, lifting books are often used to describe push or pull. Force can be of two types: contact force, non-contact force. A reluctant dog is being pulled by his master. and a boy playing football is kicking the ball away. In both cases, you can see that a force acts on two bodies through an interaction between them. A force is seen to act through a direct contact of the objects or via one more object. Such a force is called contact force. Contact force can be of four types: muscular force, frictional force, normal force, tension. Muscular force: lifting books and bags, pulling and pushing the table or door, smiling. Our daily life activities like brushing, bathing, eating, writing, driving and walking, blood circulation, expansion and contraction of lungs are the example of muscular force. So, we can define the muscular force like the force which we exert by using our body muscle is known as muscular force. Human beings and animals use muscular force to carry out their regular physical activities. How does muscle change during working? The term muscle refers to multiple bundles of muscle cells held together. Muscles are normally arranged in such a way that as one group of muscles contract or shortens, another group relaxes or lengthens. For example, if you throw a ball, the muscle in the chest and front of the shoulder lengthens to pull the arm forward, while the muscle in the back and rear of the shoulder undergo contraction to slow down the motion. Frictional force. A ball rolling along the ground gradually slows down and finally comes at rest. A boat comes to rest if we stop rowing it. In all these situations, no force appears to be acting on the objects. Yet, their speed gradually decreases and they come to rest after some time. It is the force of friction between the surface of the ball and the ground that brings the moving ball to rest. Similarly, friction between water and the boat brings it to a stop once you stop rowing. So, the definition is: friction is the resistance to the movement of the body over the surface of another body. The direction of friction is always opposite to the direction of motion relative to the surface. As the man is pushing the box in right side, the force of friction works on left direction. Normal force. A direction which is perpendicular to the plane of a surface is said to be normal. The force that a solid surface exerts on any object in the normal direction is called normal force. Here you can see the downward gravitational force is being balanced by the upward normal force. Since these two forces are of equal magnitude and acting in opposite directions, we say that the net force acting on the book is zero and the book is in equilibrium. Tension. Look at the screen. A stone tied to the string. Gravity pulls down the stone all the time. But it does not fall down because it is supported by the string. Thus, there exists a force which supports the stone against gravity by pulling it upward. Do you know what is the name of that force? It is called tension, which always pull the bodies along the string. Tension is a contact force. When you try to stretch a rope or a string, the tightness of the rope or string is called tension. Non-contact force or force at a distance or field force. A force is applied between two objects even when the two objects are not in contact. Such a force is called a non-contact force. Non-contact force can be of three types: magnetic force, electrostatic force, gravitational force. Magnetic force. Like poles repel or push each other, and unlike poles attract or pull each other, this action of pull or push results due to a magnetic force. A magnet can attract or repel another magnet without contact with that magnet. Electrostatic force. The force exerted by a charged body on another charged or uncharged body is known as electrostatic force. This force comes into play even when the bodies are not in contact. It is an example of a force at a distance. This force can be generated by rubbing the comb on your clothes and then holding it near tiny pieces of paper. You can observe bits of paper standing on their end attracted to the comb. Everything is made of tiny positive, negative, and neutral particles. The opposite charges attract each other and the like charges repel. This is the result of the electrostatic force. Gravitational force. If an object is thrown upwards, there exists a force that pulls it down towards the earth. Because of this, it falls down to the ground. We call this force gravitational force. Every object on the earth or close to the earth will experience a gravitational pull. A force of gravity is not just due to the attraction of the earth. It is a force of attraction that exists between any two bodies or masses everywhere in the universe. As the earth is so massive and huge, all the other objects close to the earth are attracted or pulled towards it. Gravity is not a property of the earth alone. In fact, every object in the universe, whether small or large, exerts a force on every other object. This force is known as the gravitational force. Summary of the lesson. Force is a push or a pull. A force can act on an object with or without being in contact with it. A force acting on a body is either a contact force or force acting at a distance. Field is a region in which an object kept at point in the region is influenced by it. Friction is the force that opposes relative motion of surfaces in contact. The force which we exert by using our body muscle is known as muscular force. The attractive force between any two massive objects is called gravitational force. The force exerted by a magnet on another magnet is called magnetic force. The magnetic force also acts on magnetic material such as iron. The force exerted by a charged body on another charged or uncharged body is known as electrostatic force.